In this video, I want to show you how to turn these into those. Hello everybody, welcome to Houseplant Headquarters. Thank you for stopping by. I'm excited to show you what we've got going on today. This channel is all about houseplant solutions. I love problem solving and getting creative. We'll just jump right into the video. You've just come home with 3 or 4 brand new houseplants. They're in these 4-inch little nursery pots that I hate. I hate coming back to the house, putting them up on the shelf in these ugly little pots. But I hate even more having to pay $15 for pots like these from other stores. Here are some examples. Even worse than me hating it, my wife hates all of these new nursery pots all over the house. And so I wanted to see if there's a creative, cost-effective way to fix that without going out and buying 30 little terracotta pots. I really don't like the color. And I wanted something that was a little bit more interesting and diverse and matched some of the aesthetic of our house. So I went to a local thrift shop and I took one of these 4.5 inch nursery pots just to see what I could find that would fit in there, because I wanted to make as many nursery pot holders as I could for what it would cost to spend on these 3 pots here together. Now for argument's sake, let's say each of these pots cost $10. I wanted to see if I could make triple that with the same amount of money. So I went out and spent $30 worth of materials.
And this is what I ended up with. Alright, first things first, you'll want to wipe everything off, make sure there's no dust or residue, and get everything ready for paint. And then I did spend $8 on this nice green color combination can of paint and primer, which I highly recommend. It did stick to the glass much better and it was a lot easier to work with. Next, you're going to want to lay down a base layer. I recommend quick, light passes. Less is always more when it comes to spray painting. You can always add another coat, but if you spray in one place too long and it runs heavy, it's a pain to get rid of. My next recommendation would be to not use a plastic drop cloth like I've got down, as it tends to stick and dry to the piece that you're working on. Instead, I'd recommend using a paper plate or a paper towel, something that's going to absorb the paint and not stick as bad when you're trying to lift it off. And if you're impatient, you can always use a hairdryer to speed up the drying process. With just that first light coat, the glass had a cool smoky vibe, and if that's what you're going for, you can stop right there. I'm going to want to do a second coat because over top of this black coat, I'm going to spray a color. For the 2 glass cubes, I wanted to try a technique that I'd seen used by Tom Wells, where essentially you'll lay down a thick layer of paint over your base coat and then press something textured into it, like tinfoil or magazine paper that's been crinkled up, exposing that base layer and leaving a cool visual effect on top. I think it came out pretty good. Stick around to the end, I'll show you the finished product. If you're liking what you're seeing and you're getting some new ideas about what to do for your nursery pots, please go down and leave a like. I certainly appreciate it and it helps me out a lot. And while you're there, if you want to leave a comment about your least favorite part of owning houseplants and what problems you run into, I'd be happy to do a future video and see what we can solve. This is just a simple splatter effect where you spray heavy paint onto gloves or a plastic bag and then just flick it at the surface of whatever piece you're working on. I really like these tall vases with a narrow neck because your nursery pot can slip right inside that and sit a lot higher on the shelf, giving you a little bit of height. With this one, I'm going to spray the bottom few inches black, let it dry completely, and then mask it off with painter's tape and spray the rest of the vase the green color that I have. This should leave a nice crisp line, and it's always super fun to peel off the tape. And this one will just be green. If you can find cheap, oversized mugs, they make for fantastic nursery pots. I'm just going to spray this one from a few feet away and give it a speckled look. This is a different black than what I have been using so far this video, but I did have this other can sitting around. It is also a paint and primer with a matte black, and I definitely recommend this over the simple satin finish. If rustic is more your vibe, this twine is literally $1. I'm just going to lay down an inch of glue at a time and wind it up. And here's the finished product. I'm really happy with how everything came out. It was quick, it was easy, it was cheap. And with all the cash left over from not buying overpriced pots, I'm gonna go back to the greenhouse and buy some more houseplants to fill up these ones. This was a weird one, and I didn't end up doing anything with it, but it was $3, so why not? And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for joining me here at Houseplant HQ. Go down and subscribe. You're not going to want to miss out on what we've got going on next.